Here we are at the start of week 4. With 8 weeks in the course, after we finish this week, we will be at the halfway mark. This week, we are going to start by talking about events that made the social sciences what they are today. We call them developments. Developments have changed how we study individuals, groups, and cultures. It might be an event like the election of the first woman president of the American Psychological Association, or a theory like Freud's psychoanalysis, or it could be a discovery like the first drug to treat depression. In the resources section of your course, you will find a list of some of the important developments in the social sciences. Be sure to take a look at this image to see where you will find those developments in your course resources, because we're going to be using them this week. This is what that list looks like. You do not need to read every development in the accompanying links, but this will give you a good starting point for your discussion assignment. These developments are in order by perspective. We'll talk about this again when we discuss your assignments for the week. Our next topic this week is paradigms, which are frameworks or a set of principles, theories, research methods, and ways of thinking that determine what is considered a valuable contribution to a field of study. A paradigm is reflective of a social scientist's beliefs, assumptions, and values about the world and how to study it. When researchers have a fundamental change in how they think about their field of study, a paradigm shift happens. It leads to new ways to ask research questions, new ways to design studies, new ways to interpret results, and new ways to view the world. Because the social sciences are constantly changing, we've gone through a lot of paradigm shifts. There have been 4 major paradigm shifts in the social sciences. You'll learn a few specific details about each of these in your module overview, but for now we're just going to mention that they are positivism, social constructivism, critical, and postmodernism. As I said, your module overview has more information on what these specifically are. These paradigm shifts are in addition to the theories that have been developed and the technological advances that have allowed for even more research and even more detailed research to occur. This week, we are also going to be discussing how to build a social science research question. As you've learned in your readings, research always starts with a topic that interests the social scientist. Then, the social scientist narrows that broad topic of interest down to a research question. It determines how you go about conducting your research and how you'll analyze the data. Your module overview has a list of questions that you should be asking as you work on creating your social scientific research question. Things like, is this question feasible? Is it complex? Is it focused? And is it ethical? Those are all questions you should ask yourself about your research question. Let's talk about your assignments for the week, and then we'll talk a little more about that research question as it relates to your Module 4 assignment. Your first assignment due this week is your initial post to the Module 4 discussion board. In your initial post, you are going to be discussing a major development that occurred in one branch of the social sciences. You don't need to discuss one from each branch, just one development. You can start by taking a look at the major developments list that we talked about earlier in this video, and then you're going to make a post that provides the name of the development and a few sentences about the development. Be sure that you're not just copying the little blurb that was posted in the module resources. After you've written that summary, explain how that development may have impacted how advertisements are studied. Your initial post to the discussion board is due by 11:59 p.m. on Thursday. Then you'll return to that discussion board before 11:59 p.m. on Sunday and reply to 2 of your peers. That response should discuss what impact that development has had on you as an individual, on society, on groups, and/or on cultures. Remember, you don't need to use any outside sources for this, but if you do, you need to be sure you are citing your sources. You also have the Module 4 activity, which is due by 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. In that assignment, you will be writing a research question that a social scientist would be interested in learning the answer to. I want to take a second to go back to the research question part of your module overview and remind you to take a look at the information found in that overview about your assignment. Your question needs to be based on at least one of your advertisements. You'll use one of the social science perspectives, and you should be taking a deeper look into the advertisements to create your question. You'll be able to make changes to it until the end of Module 5. You may even be asked to make changes to your question in your feedback from this assignment. So please be sure you're taking a look at that feedback and making any necessary adjustments. Your module overview has some great examples of questions you could pose, and you could always email me if you're not sure if your question would be a good one or not. And as always, don't forget, if you have any questions, I'm here to help. You can email me at r.enco@snhu.edu, or you can post your question in the General Questions discussion board. Have a terrific week, everyone, and I'm here if you need me.